I'm saying all of this because I want to bring the focus back to Maxwell Chikumbutso. What he claims to have invented is quite interesting, and I genuinely think there's a strong chance that what he created is real. Now, everyone is up in arms saying what he made is fake because they believe it's impossible. But here's the real issue with that. We've been misled for so long. We have to realize and accept that much of what we've been taught is simply not true. Whenever something is built, it's often based on some kind of inspiration. Unless someone has a truly unique mind, perhaps altered by certain experiences or substances, their inventions are usually influenced by something that already exists. Think about a land-based vehicle. What's the first thing that comes to mind? Probably a car. If someone wanted to create a vehicle, they would likely model it after an existing car. A design that includes 4 wheels, a steering system, brakes, and an engine to generate motion. This is the template we've become accustomed to, and when we create something new, we often build upon what's already familiar. That's why Maxwell Chikumbutso's work is so difficult for people to grasp. It's so different from anything we've seen before that many just can't wrap their heads around it. Even though I have a background in electrical work, my knowledge is based on conventional teachings. Maxwell Chikumbutso, on the other hand, does not appear to have been formally trained, and that might actually be a good thing. If he had followed the traditional academic path, college, degrees, formal training, this technology might not exist today. Or maybe someone like him would appear much later in the future to bring the same ideas to life. Someone in the comment section, CL, I believe, mentioned that academia has misled us. And that's something I hinted at earlier. When you earn a PhD, you become locked into a specific way of thinking. Your entire approach to problem solving is shaped by the structured education you received. That's not to discredit people with PhDs. I respect the hard work it takes to achieve that level of education, but many of these individuals get stuck within the boundaries of conventional knowledge. We need to return to the basics. We can't just dismiss something based on pictures, GPS data, or preconceived notions. The fact is, mainstream science is designed to make us question what we see with our own eyes. They'll stand in lab coats, presenting data in a way that convinces you that what you're experiencing isn't real. They intentionally distort reality. Take the concept of the Earth's shape, for example. We can prove that the Earth is flat simply by going to the beach, observing the horizon, or even flying in a plane. Pilots themselves acknowledge this reality. When we're born, our natural perception tells us that the world is stationary and flat. But as we grow older, we are conditioned to accept a different narrative. I know people will ridicule me for saying this. No one wants to be mocked. I never intended to label myself as a flat earther because I don't enjoy being made fun of. But the truth is the truth, whether people accept it or not. I'm not here to argue for the sake of argument. I just want to present facts. If the brilliant minds in this discussion could see the world as it truly is, imagine how much more sense things would start to make. Concepts that once seemed confusing would suddenly become clear. The reason I bring this up is that the foundation of our understanding is built on deception. If we're taught a falsehood from birth, such as the Earth moving through space in impossible ways, then everything we think we know is based on that falsehood. We are told that space is a vacuum, yet we have no real explanation for how a vacuum can exist next to an atmosphere without a physical barrier that defies basic scientific principles. Consider the vacuum experiments conducted on Earth. The closest thing we have to replicating the vacuum of space is in Sandusky, Ohio, at the NASA Glenn Research Center. Even there, they can only achieve a vacuum level of 10 to the 6th torr, which isn't even close to what they claim space to be. Yet we're supposed to believe that spacecraft function in a perfect vacuum beyond our atmosphere? Bringing this back to Maxwell Chikumbutso, if we want to truly understand what he's doing, we need to stop assuming we already have all the answers. Many of us reject new concepts simply because they don't fit into the knowledge we've been given. But that mindset blocks us from grasping new discoveries in electricity, science, and beyond. We assume that the way we were taught is the only way, but the truth is that even the most well-meaning professors and teachers were misled themselves. That doesn't make them liars. It just means they too were given false information. We've all been deceived, and the only way to break free from that is to explore the world for ourselves. We need to question everything. If we ignore the evidence in front of us, we'll continue to believe in illusions. We'll accept that the world is spinning, that it's a globe, and we'll never see beyond those limits. I hope this makes sense. I've been talking a lot, so I'll let others take the floor now. Thanks for listening. I just wanted to ask, what are these supposed lies that people believe we've been told? Science is built on intuition and experimentation. I don't just believe what my teachers say. I interact with technology, I build machines, and I see scientific principles at work every day. That's why experimentation is a crucial part of science. So, when you say we've been lied to, where exactly is that deception coming from? That's a good question. The comment about science being a lie came from someone named AD, who has now moved to the chat section. He's claiming that much of what we accept in science is false. I don't think science itself is a lie. I agree with AD to an extent. There are things that have been measured, tested, and proven. However, I also believe that scientists are often restricted in what they're allowed to explore. Certain areas of research are intentionally overlooked. For example, many universities don't allow experiments with spinning magnets and electromagnetic fields. Why? Because those experiments could lead to discoveries that challenge existing scientific models. I'm not sure whether it's because those findings are considered dangerous or because people simply don't understand them. The scientific method is a reliable way to uncover truth, but not everyone applies it correctly. That's the issue I have. What I've discovered defies conventional explanations, and I've spent years trying to understand it. I've consulted with numerous physicists, attempting to fit my findings into existing theories. But many of them dismiss it outright, saying it's impossible because it violates the law of conservation of energy. I disagree with that. My system works because it prevents heat buildup, which is something conventional models fail to account for.